My name is Maritza Venecia, and I'm the founder of the Greater Goal Foundation. We're a local foundation that was founded to create awareness for childhood cancer here in the Rio Grande Valley. Over the past 12 years, we have worked with hundreds of children and families, and we have just been, blessed to be able to also raise funds to help these families, and bring a lot of smiles to a lot of faces. We have a lot of activities at the clinic. We do activities at schools, just to bring awareness to their battle and honor their battle with their peers. The Greater Goal Foundation. Why do I do it? What is it that we do? I'll take you back to the very beginning. So I started a foundation called the Faith Family Friends Foundation with a friend of mine who I went to high school with, who was diagnosed with terminal cancer. I believe we were in our late 20s, and he was a Border Patrol agent. And before he passed away, wanted to start this foundation because he wanted to help other Border Patrol agents and their families with cancer. So the idea started very small, and it was like, hey, we're going to have a golf tournament, we're going to raise $12,000, and we're going to help 12 families a year. And that was our initial idea. So fast forward, Eddie passes away, we're sitting on a board, and we're going through applications, and someone brought us an application for a child who had cancer, and this little boy named Jesse, and he was from Donna. And Jesse had something called osteosarcoma, and the application came across my desk and said, there's this little boy, he's got osteosarcoma, we'd like to help the family with funeral expenses. And of course I was heartbroken, I'm a mom, it's just a little boy. And so I called Jesse's mom, and I'm like, hey, I got an application, I heard, you're gonna have a funeral and we'd like to help. And she says, well, we're not having a funeral yet. Jesse's still here. He's alive. We're just being told that there's nothing we can do for him. And I kind of didn't get it. I didn't really understand what that meant. Like, how do you plan your child's funeral? So I asked her if I could go meet them and kind of understand what was happening. And so I drive up to this house, and there's Jesse, and Jesse's outside playing football. But Jesse only has one arm because he had an amputation due to his diagnosis. And I was even more confused. So I'm talking to Jesse's mom, and she says, yeah, we've been doing treatment for a while. We took him to Houston, and they basically sent us home on hospice care and said there's nothing we can do for him anymore. And I was just completely heartbroken. And so through that, she told me they were getting treatment at Vannie Cook. I kind of just walked into Vannie Cook and said, hey, I want to help. There's this little boy that has cancer and he's dying and there's nothing you can do for him. I don't understand, but how many kids are there like this? Can I help other kids? And so initially they kind of looked at me like I was a weirdo, and they were like, we can't give you any information, get out of here. And I said, no, here's my card, here's my information. I promise I want to help. When you have another family who needs help, call me. 6 months of helping families at Vannie Cook, I kind of went back to my friends on the other foundation and said, hey guys, I think I just want to help kids. You guys can keep carrying the torch and helping the adults, but I want to help kids. I feel like this is my purpose. And in those 6 months we were able to help, 6 or 7 families, I don't remember. And I felt like I found my purpose and I found my passion. And I met children, and I met so many kids, and I heard this saying that once you meet a child with cancer, your life changes forever. And those words couldn't be truer, because for me it changed my entire perspective on life. It changed everything. It changed how I saw life. It changed how I appreciated the innocence of childhood. It connected me with so many mothers. In one of the first couple of years, I went to 12 funerals. I watched 12 mothers bury their children. And I just kind of said to myself, they need help. Because if I didn't know, I felt like, man, there's got to be so many people out there who don't know that there's all these children battling cancer in the Rio Grande Valley. And if we bring awareness to it, maybe we can raise enough funds to help all of these families. My hopes and dreams for the Greater Gold Foundation are just to continue its own kind of organic path. It grows on its own every year. So it's been pretty cool to see the elementaries and the junior highs and kind of do all these things on their own. So my hope is one day everybody just does it, right? Just how everybody wears pink in October and people are gearing mid-September and they're buying all their pink stuff and everybody wears pink in September. My hope is that, in October, my hope is that everybody would wear gold on their own, and I don't have to, travel to 50 football games every September, and it's a blessing to be able to do it, but I'm hoping sometime in the near future. It's just such a large campaign, and it's so ingrained and so important to people that they just do it on their own. That's a big part of why I advocate inside schools, because I really do think one day there's going to be a future leader or a future congressman or somebody whose life was touched by one of these campaigns or one of these children, and they're going to make the difference. And they're going to make the difference in possibly, creating funding to find the cure, or maybe there's going to be somebody in one of these rooms or one of these football stadiums who actually finds the cure. And that's my hope, that the more advocacy that we create, the more awareness that we create, that there's somebody whose heart we're going to touch who's going to make the difference for these kids in the future.